I'm Dylan, and welcome to Twisted Rich Garage. What's up, guys, and thanks for joining me on another episode of Twisted Rich Garage. We're getting real close to Christmas, guys. Less than a week away. Definitely feel like this year has definitely flown by. I've almost been doing these YouTube videos for almost a year now. In February it'll be a year, so definitely awesome that I've been able to continue doing this for this long. Definitely going to try to keep up as best I can. We're actually back out here working on this 84 Dodge for my buddy Ben. I know I've been doing a lot of videos just on this truck, but I just want to make sure that this truck is all set and ready to go for him whenever he comes to pick it up. That way he's able to drive it and enjoy it, and then slowly just kind of fix what he wants to on it, and that way he can learn a little bit in the process of owning this old girl. But I have been talking to a gentleman that knows quite a bit about these 360s, and he actually showed me a picture, this one here. And he said that actually could be one of the problems that we're having with this misfire issue. He says he doesn't believe that anything got in between the valves, but it's definitely not impossible. So what I want to do is I want to pull that valve cover off of this driver's side. I want to take a look at those valves back there in the back. Maybe even fire it up if I'm not seeing anything right off bat. Maybe fire it up with the valve cover off, make sure those valves are fully opening and closing as they should, and kind of go from there and see what we can find out as to what's causing this this misfire issue that we're having. So let me get you guys in position. Let's start tearing into this and let's find out what's going on. All right, let's get this valve cover off of here. Pull my PCV valve out. Set that aside for now. Our goal is we want to look at those back valves and find out what's going on with those, because definitely one of them isn't opening or closing, or our rings have gone bad on that cylinder. So we won't know until we start really getting into it. Set that there. It's tightening it. Things. What am I doing? I need this. One more. See if I can get that one out of there. There we go. There's one more in the very back. I may have to. Yep, I'm gonna need a shorter extension. There we go. It's loose. We'll get it by hand now. If I can get up in here. There we go. Try to find the right angle. Stupid pipe. Okay. So there's our valve cover. Set that aside for now. Grab a flashlight. I want to get a good look in here. All right, so I've looked over all these. I've reached in there, I've spun them all around. I've actually even ran it with this cover off to make sure that all the valves are looking like they're operating properly. They look like they're working just fine. Not all of the push rods spin exactly as free as they probably should, but I think that's a lot of gunk buildup that's causing that. And it's back there in the back that I'm really believing that our problem is. Let me go ahead, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and pull the other side's valve cover off just to make sure doubly that there's nothing going on over there. But we may end up having to do a compression check on this thing, see if we can figure out what our issue is. There it is, running with the valve cover off of its driver's side. They all seem to be working. Like I said, I can spin the valves. Let me get this light in position I can show you. So, that one's a little sticky but spins. Same thing. You can clearly see that one right there spinning, probably. Get a little light on there. You should be able to see those spin. That one there isn't. That one on what looks like the intake doesn't look like it's spinning very freely. I may end up pulling this rocker arm assembly off and just pulling each one of these push rods out, clean them up, and see if there's any kind of bend in them or whatnot that maybe not opening up or closing our valve all the way. So let me take a look at that. I've got these broke free for the rocker arm assembly. I have been building a little bit of heat up in this, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is hot. So 5 bolts total on the rocker arm assembly, and it has little curved washers that need to stay on the bolts. We are getting oil to the top end, even though this thing was all gunked up. This is one of the things I liked about Dodges. They had these rocker arm assemblies. You don't have to adjust the valves or nothing. While it does give you more flexibility being able to adjust your valves, this just kind of keeps your valves protected and your cam protected from getting all super wore out. So then this whole assembly will actually lift off. We're just gonna go set this over to the side for now. Doesn't appear to be bent, but I'm gonna roll this on the table, make sure each one of these individually is not bent, and I'm gonna clean them up on the wire wheel, see if we can get them freed up some. What I'm probably gonna do is, there's also a hole right there, and if you can actually go all the way through it. If I have some brake cleaner left, I'll shove the spout in there, and we'll try to clean these out. That'll help oil our top system a lot better too, because our oil, the way these oil the top system is it oils the lifters. The lifters then send oil through the push rod through that hole, and it comes out and bleeds over your valve spring here. So let me go ahead and get through this whole process, and I'll bring you back. All right, so I'm just on the second one now. Just kind of wanted to show you this is what it's after. Just putting it right back in where it was. There we go. And there's a little before. We're gonna get all that buildup of gunk off of there, and then we'll slap it back in. We got 5 more to go, 6 more to go. Oof, there's so much crap in there. I may end up, before I put that rocker arm assembly in there, I may take a rag and kind of wipe out some of this, because there is still some gunk floating around in there. So yeah, just thought I'd show you. Well, that one was real gunky. I could feel the crap on it coming out. Oh, that one was stuck. I had a lot of crap on it. No wonder it wasn't spinning. Last one. And I did, as I was checking these, I cleaned the ends off. These apparently aren't the ones that the oil comes through the top. So apparently this gets oil a different way. I think actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it actually sends oil through. Yeah, now that I remember right, actually oil comes up through one of these bolts, or more than one of these bolts, and it actually fills up that tube with the rocker arms are on, and that's where it gets its oil. There's a little hole, I remember now. There's a little hole about right there on the little rocker arm. I'm not gonna show it to you guys before I put it back on. But we're almost done getting these all cleaned up. Definitely dirty. All right. After a little bit of a fight, I keep getting these all, you know, in their spot where they need to be. We're just getting our bolts kind of started right now. Alright. I'm about to have to take this jacket off. It's starting to get warm in here. Let's get our back one started. And we'll have to make sure we tighten these down evenly, guys. I have seen these shafts snap. And if you don't tighten them down evenly, because it puts too much pressure on one end and it'll snap that shaft right at that spot where you don't want it to. Up. All right. just starting to grab, so I'm just gonna move on to the next one. Same there. Move on to the next one. Probably be easier if I did that by hand. One second here. Did I get that rod rotated all the way around or something? I did. Alright, give me a second. Okay, so I got this driver's side all put back together. The camera died on me, so I had to change it. But I don't know if you guys can see on that one right there, we're not getting a whole lot of movement out of that. And that's our exhaust valve on number 5. The back two are moving just fine. I did go ahead and get the passenger side pulled off. Let me show you that side. Like they're okay too. I mean, that same one on this side doesn't seem like it moves a whole lot. Interesting. So the mystery still continues as to what's causing our misfire. Alright guys, I went ahead and went through and I've done a compression check on this side, and I've got our numbers written down. I'll show you those once I'm done completely. But this side was definitely a little more challenging to get done with both hands free. So I got the passenger side set up over there with the gauge. I'm gonna go ahead and open the throttle up all the way, and I'm gonna kick this this old girl over and see what we have on that side. So let me get you guys in a good position so you guys can see that gauge, and we'll get this other side done. Hopefully you guys can get a good view of that gauge. This is the number 2. You just opening up the throttle all the way, and then just jumping the starter relay. Alright, there, that one's that side. Let me go see what the number is. You guys can probably see it before I can. That way we can write it down. So we've got 122, 124. So there's that. This is number 4. We got about 121, 120. Yep. About 120 on that one too. 120, 121. All right, here we go on number. You're doing that. Number 6. That one's at 150. That's the highest compression out of all of them.
Wow. That is pretty good. Exceptional.
150. Holy crap. Number 8, open throttle. Like 140, which isn't bad. Alright guys, we got this all put back together. Compression wise, I mean, everything's checking out fine. The only thing that I saw was a little off, and I'll show you here. We got 120 on 1, 122 to 124 on 2, 120 on 3, 120 to 122 on number 4. Number 5 was 109 to 110. That was the only one that was a little low. Number 6 was 150. It was the highest. Number 7, 120, and number 8 was 140. So I mean, from everything I'm seeing on these numbers, I mean, everything's fine. The only one I see that's a little bit lower is at number 5. but I got it all put back together. Still same thing. I just cannot figure out why this thing's missing. You know, getting spark all the way to the plugs. The only thing I can notice is that intake rocker on number 5 and number 4 are both seem like they don't move very much, and number 4 had the highest compression out of all of them. So I don't know, I'm at a loss. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to fire this girl up. I'm going to back it up out of the shop a little bit, and I'm going to throw some seafoam down the old throat here, see if we can clean this old girl out, see if that helps out at all. So let me get that going. The Italian tune-up commence. Got that miss in it. Alright guys, it's running. We did the little Italian tune-up. I didn't do it to the point where it killed it, and then I went, you know, let it sit and then fire it back up after it sits for a while. I didn't do that whole process. I did find a little bit of a water leak. I found a hose that I hadn't fully tightened up, so I went ahead and took care of that. But we did get it all taken care of when it comes to that Italian tune-up. Did it help a little bit? Maybe a little bit. We still have that little bit of a miss in the truck. When you're revving it, you can feel it. The truck's shaking a little bit. From all the tests that I've done so far, leaning towards either going to be bad lifters or the cam, the exhaust lobe on the cam for number 5 and number 4 maybe causing some problems. We're not getting, you know, a whole lot of smoke out of the cylinders, nothing. So I mean, it's running and burning real clean. You know, the problem is that leak or that misfire, and like I said, it's either going to be a cam or it's going to be bad lifters. Because if the lifters aren't hydraulically pressurized all the way, they won't do their job lifting that push rod all the way to open the valve all the way. And
maybe we're not getting all of our exhaust out of the exhaust ports before it's wanting to fire again on the next rotation for number 5 and number 4, which definitely gonna have to do some more research on it, see what we can find out. I mean, it fires up great. I mean, turn the key on and boom, fires right up. Just has that little bit of a miss. So hopefully we can resolve that. I think that's gonna be it for today though, because I did come out here to try to take care of some wiring stuff for like the back lights and these front marker lights, and I've got some other things to take care of as well. We got a new power steering hose for both of the high pressure and the low pressure line down there for the power steering. Got new windshield wiper motor and some new bushings to go in the windshield wiper arms themselves, and some new windshield wipers. So we've got some more stuff to do to it. I really wanted to try to see if I could solve this misfire issue, but she is being a pain. I mean, she runs good though, other than that. So maybe she just needs to be driven a bunch, you know? Maybe she just needs cleaned out. Who knows? I mean, I kind of know. I mean, kind of telling me Cam or a bad lifter, so I mean, we'll like I said, we'll do some more research. I'm gonna be back out here again, get some more stuff done to the old girl. Try to get some more stuff done before Christmas and get you guys an episode out this upcoming Saturday. So we'll be back out here again. See you guys tomorrow. All right, guys, we're back out here working on this truck again, the old 84 Dodge. Well, from the other day, what we found out was we either have a collapsed lifter or a bad cam lobe on number 5 and number 6. I think I may have told you guys wrong in the previous one. It's 5 and 6 that's having the problems. They're just not opening up all the way. So my suspicion is that we have a lifter that is collapsed on the inside of it. So to actually get a visual inspection of that, we actually have to pull basically the top of the engine apart. Got to get the carburetor and the intake manifold out of the way, all the wiring, any hoses and all that kind of stuff. I've already gotten started. Went ahead and pulled off the alternator, the AC, our upper radiator hose, our heater hoses, our fuel line. Still got to disconnect all of this stuff over here. And definitely still have some stuff to go. Need to get this heater hose removed as well. This pipe may end up becoming an issue when we go try to pull this intake manifold off, so I'm probably gonna have to pull that up and out of the way. Also need to remove the coil mount and all that kind of stuff, the wires, kind of set those up here off to the side. That way I can get to these intake manifold bolts and start getting this intake manifold pulled off. I'm gonna end up having to pull off the valve covers again to get the rocker arm shafts off of both sides. That way I can pull the rocker or the push rods and then pull out each of the lifters individually. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to set all that up on a piece of cardboard. That way I can have everything go back exactly where it was. So let me go ahead and get some more going on this, and we'll bring you guys back. All right, we got all the throttle and kick down all taken off, carburetors all removed. We're now ready to go ahead and just remove that last vacuum line going over to the brake booster, and then we can start removing these intake bolts all the way around. Then we'll get that intake off. I don't believe I'm going to need to pull the valve covers off to get it off, but if I do, I'll go ahead and get that done. So just wanted to show you guys a little update of what I've got going on. It's a little hard to get you guys a good view of what's going on with me kind of leaning over the engine trying to get everything all undone and such. So let's go get these intake manifold bolts out, and let's see about getting this taken out of here. All right, so I got all the bolts out of the intake. I was able to get it broke free. I did have to go ahead and pull the valve covers off just so I could use this side to pry on it. This is probably the best side I was able to find. But I was able to get it broke free on this side. Let's see if I can get this other side broke free. Yeah. I'm not looking forward to carrying this thing out of here. This thing is so heavy. And this thing is in my way. I'm just gonna bend it out of the way because that's part of that smog pump setup that eventually we're gonna get rid of altogether. So let me try to get this old girl lifted up out of here. Holy crap! That heavy. Ugh. All right, guys, so after some investigation, we found out some information that we really didn't want to find out, but just happened to be the case. So I wanted to show you guys a little trick that I do. I know a lot of these are about the same, but a little trick that I do is I grab a piece of cardboard when I'm pulling this stuff apart. I punch little holes in it, and then I shove my bolts in where they go on the intake. Same thing with the push rods for the left and right, and I've actually got it labeled front here. And the same thing with my box that I'm holding my lifters in. I've got it labeled front, and I've also got them laid out front to back, passenger, driver. Let me show you what we found. So if we look at number 5 exhaust port, which is going to be this one here, pull that out of there. Now look at that. You see how concave that is? That's supposed to be flat. And that is the exact same on the exhaust port on number 6. So yeah, these are shot. The lifters are shot, as well as the cam shot too. It's definitely worn itself out. There's really no lobes left on that exhaust port for 5 or 6. Let me show you what we found inside there. And this is just a little glimpse of some of the nastiness that this truck has had to endure in its lifetime. But it's number 5 and number 6. Both of these they're just shot. I mean, you can see all the gunk inside here. I mean, I just took a little screwdriver and just kind of poked at that, and it just kind of crumbled. So we have actually decided, with all of this newfound information, that we're gonna go ahead and actually pull this engine out. We've got another one here at the shop that my buddy Mike's gonna sell Ben. Let me clean the camera here, it's a little fuzzy. Is that better? A little bit. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pull this engine out, just like I did on Project Black Pearl. We're gonna swap this motor out. We've got a motor over in the back side of the shop. It's got probably 10,000 miles on it. It's got a fresh rebuild on it. It's got some heavier duty springs. It's got, from what I can tell from the pistons, it's got valve relief cuts on the pistons, so the pistons have been swapped out as well. It's got a new head gasket. I mean, this whole motor's been gone through. So today we ran out of time today doing all the investigation, trying to figure out what's causing our problems on this motor. Unfortunately, this motor, it's tired. I mean, it can be saved, yes. You could go through, put a new cam, put a new lifters in, you know, have the heads gone through. You know, you're probably looking at $1,500–1,800 worth of work doing there. But we're able to go ahead and snag another motor for almost the same cost. So we're just gonna go ahead and slap that old girl in. It came out of a car, so there are some things we'll have to change out. Oil pump, or the oil pan, the oil pump pickup tube. We're gonna have to reuse his intake manifold and carburetor and distributor. We can go over a lot more of that when we get to that point, but I kind of wanted to give you guys an update of what's going on. Definitely didn't want to find this information out, but unfortunately, sometimes that's the risk you take on these old rigs. You know, I thought it was parked for a driver hub. It was actually parked because the cam's bad, the lifters are bad. So because Ben's gonna be keeping this truck for the next unforeseeable future, he wants to get a new motor thrown in it, get it to where it's gonna be nice and reliable. That way he can daily drive it. That's why we've been throwing so much stuff at this truck. So I'm gonna get my mess cleaned up. We're gonna go through this week, I think. I don't think I'm gonna be able to come back out here and get any more done on the truck here. So I'm gonna clean up my mess, go home, get kind of a parts list going of what we're gonna need when it comes to swapping this motor out to that other one. like I said, I already did an inspection of it, so the only thing we need to do is start getting to work on pulling this one out. That way we can slap our this other one in. So I think that's it for this episode of Twisted Wrench Garage. I hate that it's ending this way, but it will come to a point where this truck will be on the road again, driving happy as can be, but just not right now. So again, I do appreciate you tuning in to another episode of Twisted Wrench Garage. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to tune in to the next episode where we're going to be pulling this motor out, getting it ready for the new one. See you guys next time.